Hello, everybody. Our parsha contains the mitzvah of Shiluach Hakein ki korei kan tzipor lefanecha, when one comes across a mother bird nesting on her offspring. Shaleach tishalach et ha'em ve'et habanim tikach lach. You have to first send away the mother bird before taking her offspring. Leman yitavlach v'harachta yamim, so that all will be good with you, and you shall have longevity of days. The Gemara Maseches Chulin Kuf Mem tells us that this is a paradigm of a mitzvah kala. Apparently, it's a mitzvah easily fulfilled. The Gemara Yerushalmi, in the opening chapter of Masechet Peah, brings the following teaching. Amar of Abba bar Kahana, Hishva katuv mitzvah kala shebekalot lemitzvah chamura shebechamurot. The Torah likens one of the easiest of mitzvot to one of the most difficult of mitzvot. Mitzvah kala shebekalot ze shiluach haken. That is the mitzvah that we are speaking of in our parsha. U'mitzvah chamura shebachamurot, however, the paradigm of one of the most difficult mitzvot, ze kibud av va'em. This is the mitzvah of honoring one's parents. And the comparison between these two mitzvot that are at the opposite end of the spectrum of difficulty or easiness is that both of them have v'ha'arachta yamim, longevity of days, as it says in the Aseret HaDibrot regarding kibud av va'em lema'an ya'arichun yamecha. How do we understand that Shiluach Haken is an easy mitzvah and Kibud Av Va'em is a difficult mitzvah? So most would see it in terms of, after all, you can't prepare for Shiluach Haken. It happens. It chances upon you. Prat limizuman, Chazal say. You can't set it up. And with a flick of the hand, shooing away the mother bird, that's it. You have fulfilled the mitzvah. Easy as pie. One-time thing. Whereas the mitzvah of Kibud Av Va'em is b'chayehem u'v'motam. Some parents can be quite the demanding ones. Some can have a personality that is not the most pleasant. Hopefully present company excluded. And it can be a very difficult mitzvah. Day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year, decade after decade. It is a time-consuming and often inconvenient mitzvah, and yet the reward is the same for both of them. Along these lines, interestingly, it occurred to me that our parsha opens with what would be considered a very difficult mitzvah. I'm speaking of in the circumstance of battle and the law of the Isha Yifat Toar, when the Jewish soldier finds himself attracted to one of the women taken in captivity from the enemy nation, and all that he has to put her through. And the Torah tells us, because why would we allow him to marry such a woman, to be with such a woman? Lo dibra Torah, say Chazal, ela keneged yetzer hara. The Torah knew that if this woman were to be forbidden, her attractiveness is likely to cause the Jewish soldier to sin. So the Torah created a framework to try to manage things and to hopefully dissuade him from marrying the woman under the better circumstance, so that he should not be drawn to her simply because of her attractiveness. The Yetzer Hara pounds within the Jewish soldier. And so it is a very, very difficult mitzvah to observe. But nonetheless, I think from all of this, we can see several things. And especially it is relevant now in the month of Elul. Number one, we can't make cheshbonot. We have certain mitzvot that perhaps for us are easier, that we are wont to perhaps see as more important, whatever the case may be. And the truth is, we don't know what's more important, what's less important, whether we are supposed to distinguish between easy and difficult mitzvot. The Torah is telling us you have the same reward for the easy one-time mitzvah and the lifetime difficult mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Eim. Stop making cheshbonot. Stop with the calculations. Every mitzvah is important. Every mitzvah is an expression of what God wills of us. And that's an important lesson as we undertake the tshuva process during these days of Elul and the Yamim Noraim. But perhaps is another aspect as well, and that is the ease and the difficulty of Shiluach HaKain versus Kibud Av V'Eim is not simply as we've expressed it until now, but it has to do with the Yetzer, with the proclivity of the human being. Shiluach HaKain, not that this is necessarily an expression of God's Rachmanis on the animal world, is meant to instill in us a sensitivity of Rachmanis towards the other, even towards a mother bird, and certainly towards a fellow human being. Now, having Rachmanis for someone that faces a difficulty or is in plight is something that is within the nature. We are, as human beings, compassionate people. When we see someone in distress, our first reaction might be, what can we do to help them? We're not being asked to go against our nature in performing a mitzvah act that speaks of compassion towards a mother bird, towards someone else. On the other hand, the mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Eim, as Chazal put it, is predicated on the idea of Hakarat HaTov. Parents raise and nurture and make incredible sacrifices for their children, and therefore children have accrued a tremendous debt of gratitude towards their parents. And the Hakarat HaTov demands Kibud Av V'Eim. Hakarat HaTov goes against the human nature. What does it mean, Hakarat HaTov? Thank you very much. Thank you. Why? Because it shows I was dependent on you. I needed your help. I needed your assistance. It is your action that saved the day. And therefore, perhaps when it's a total stranger who helps us, it's a little bit easier to be Makir Tov. Thank you very much. I'm not going to ever see you again. I don't know you, but I appreciate what you did. To say that to a parent, to say that to a good friend with whom we have constant and daily interaction, to acknowledge, I need you. I can't do it all the time, all by myself. I owe you. Thank you. That is not the inherent nature of the human being. And in that sense, Kibud Av V'Eim is a difficult mitzvah. This is perhaps the time for us to recognize that the Yetzer within us is something that has to be vanquished, whether it's the Yetzer Hara of the Chayal vis-a-vis the Shetifat Toar, or whether it's the Yetzer within us that demands that we see ourselves as independent beings who don't need the help of others, and to battle that and to recognize, yes, I do need other people's help from time to time, and to recognize that with Hakarat HaTov. Shabbat Shalom Umevarach.